Hello and welcome to Business Today. I'm Siddharth Zarabi and with me, C Vijaykumar, the MD and CEO of HCL Tech. We are at the World Economic Forum in Davos, and as you can see, the clouds continue to roll in. No rain, thankfully. Mr. Vijaykumar, inflation seems to be raining down on the global economy's parade. You see the United States people checking their gas bills, which perhaps used to never happen. How's it looking like, and is that emerging like a dark cloud on the horizon?
Yes, of course, as you rightly pointed out, there are many macroeconomic uncertainties, which is weighing on a lot of decision makers. But the good part about being in the tech industry, they look upon us as solutions for some of the challenges, like getting in better productivity, bringing in more efficiency, pursuing the digital transformation journey, which eventually helps their businesses to be more efficient, drive more revenues, drive better customer experience. So we are always the part of the solution.
Yes. And the IT industry played a huge role after the pandemic struck. And for around 2 years, we have seen business respond in a certain way. Yes. Your company also responded. Your clients must have, sought newer things from you. As we look ahead with hopefully the pandemic fully behind us soon, what's the outlook? What's the next year or 2 years looking like?
As you would have heard many times in the last 2 years, the pandemic has really accelerated the digital transformation much faster than what one would have imagined. So moving forward, I think cloud continues to be a very, very strong technology strategy a lot of companies are adopting. Cloud is no longer a technology project. It's really a business strategy. And it's believed that more than half of the tech spend by 2025 will be on cloud. So a lot of our propositions, whether it is the digital foundation, digital application services, or the digital engineering, where we build products using new technologies to be deployed on cloud, all of them are geared up to kind of capture the spend on the cloud.
When it comes to the cloud opportunity, beyond that, key thing that a lot of people tell me is the difficulties companies face, and that's my word, difficulties in acquiring talent and retaining talent. Yeah. We've seen that change with the pandemic. What's happening now? Are you in better control, so to say, of the HR side?
Yes, I think the whole talent equation, the more sustainable solution is to get new talent from colleges and train them and deploy them and really kind of upskill them as they kind of walk through their careers in our company. So we have really doubled down on fresher absorption over the last 2 years, and we continue to hire a lot more freshers. And for the internal talent, the strategy has been to upskill them, right? All of them have done very good work over the last many years, but there are new challenges that are coming up. So how do we equip them to handle those new challenges, both from a execution perspective and just the capabilities to really scale up to the requirements of the clients?
A larger question, and this is to do with the learning deficit of learning engineering while stuck in a room for months. Is that becoming an issue, although campuses are coming back and thriving now? Do you notice a gap for such students?
I don't think there is a perceptible change because even during the pandemic or when we hired people, a lot of training happens online because to really kind of scale the training multifold, there is, of course, some physical intervention. It's always a hybrid mode, but a predominant amount of learning happens online. And the 10-20%, which is really instructor-led and some kind of brainstorming, problem-solving, I think that really kind of completes the learning curve.
I have a few broader questions, but one quick point, and this is to those who are watching this interview, parents and students. Yeah. And they ask us, what's the next big thing that our child should pick up? What skills should they know so that they get the best break? And, this is not for the IIT top tier. This is a question more aimed at those who are below that. Yeah. What would you advise them?
always believe technology and software coding is going to be an evergreen area, right? I mean, because that's every business is modernizing, doing more and more things using software. It's getting softwareized. So software programming is going to be an evergreen skill, even though some of that is getting more automated, but there will always be things that
there
need
would
to
be
code.
a person even behind the
That's
automation,
right,
even if
exactly.
the numbers. Okay, the broader macro point and the India story. IT brands like yours have taken the India story, the soft power, the culture all over the world. What's it looking like in a world which seems to be decoupling from the global trade order? There are more bilateral trade agreements, country to country agreements, and the geopolitical tension, which is making difficult choices real for business.
I think like for all the tech services companies, US continues to be the largest market. I think more than 50% of the revenues for the IT sector comes from US, which continues to be a very robust kind of an operating environment. Europe, over the last 2 to 3 years, actually more fueled by the pandemic, they're a lot more open to looking at global delivery models, especially countries like Germany, France, who were not so much leveraging the global delivery models. Now they're a lot more open. I think.
Does that openness also reflect in their approach towards visas for professionals from the IT sector, especially from an Indian perspective?
I think there is a little more emphasis on localization. And if you see, we have close to 70% or 80% in different geographies where we have localized talent. We hire people from the local markets and communities, and we really upskill them and deploy them. I think that localization trend will continue.
Does localization also mean that the demand for on-site could go down? Because there's also been some amount of shift where clients get serviced more from outside rather than on location.
Yes, for some specialized skills, it will continue to have a requirement, because even if you hire in the geographies, you may not get all the skills that you need. So for higher end skills, onshore opportunities continue.
The simpler way that I should ask you this, and this would be a common question, is are more Indians going to get IT visas? Can they make careers overseas? Or has that also changed because of what's happening in the world?
I think it's everybody is a global citizen, right? There are people working for global companies from anywhere. I think that whole paradigm of getting visas, going to another country, I think it's a little bit outdated. Today, it's work from anywhere, and anything can be done from anywhere, especially in our industry.
Oh, remember that, work from anywhere. One final point. Yes. What's working for the India story and what is not?
I think the abundant talent, I think, is our biggest advantage. There's no other country in the world which has got so much of raw talent which could be trained and very productively leveraged. And of course, talent is also a challenge because there are so many opportunities. People get distracted quite easily. So
they hop, skip, jump.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, that is perhaps summed up in that word attrition, but we'll leave it for some other time. Mr. Vijaykumar, thank you very much for your time with us today.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed this conversation, and if you did too, thank you very much for watching.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.